Hey, and welcome back here to the Convention Center in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. I'm Tanner Grace. That is Armada, and we're going to get into another match here from round one from the calling today. We're going to make sure that we can get you the most flesh and blood that we can get today. And I kind of teased this one a little bit. You want to talk about who we're going to be seeing a little bit today?
Yes, today we're going to see the Calling New Zealand, I think it's Calling Auckland specifically,
yeah.
the Calling Auckland champion. Matt Rogers is here from New Zealand to play in this event.
That's some
and
dedication.
Yes, we're going to jump into round one with Matt Rogers playing Briar versus Chad Howell on Lexi.
All right, looks like the players are going to go ahead and set up. It looks like we're getting a rematch of our other first round. We're going to have Briar versus Lexi, and it looks like we've got quite a lightning style hand here from Mr. Matt Rogers. Didn't get to really see the hand of the Lexi player too much, but I do see a deep blue on both sides, so
yeah,
these players got to love their pools to start with.
Oh, wow, interesting. Starting with a Flicker Wisp Fuse. This is going to up any source of arcane damage dealt on this turn, which is a really interesting card. It's a Majestic, so you don't get this very often, and this will actually deal an arcane damage because it was fused as well. So this actually pushes 2 arcane damage, which again is unblockable unless you have access to Runaways up at the top there. We do see Chad has access to that.
Yeah, this is equipment that can prevent a damage if you've already been damaged this turn.
That's
right?
correct, yeah.
It looks like we're going to follow this up with a Ball Lightning, a card that you and I were singing the praises of in the first half of the first round. This looks like it might be a huge turn from turn 1 here from Matt Rogers, already setting up a lot of damage physical, a lot of damage arcane, and then possibly a big, oh, this is a huge turn.
Yep, this is exactly what you want to see, and this is going to buff this arcane. If I'm counting correctly, this is 3 arcane being represented straight across, because you're going to get the buff from Ball Lightning, and you're getting the buff from Flicker Wisp as well. And so that should push a very large amount of arcane, which he could block one of with Runaways. I do think you keep Runaways towards the end of your game and try to kind of save your life total there. It looks like he takes the 3 arcane. Is he choosing to block? I'm not sure if he's going to choose to block or not. You probably do in this instance, but he may just take this 3. That seems very scary, though, against an arcane damage Briar like you were talking about earlier, right?
Yeah, and these are the turns that are super scary, even just to start the game, because you're seeing Chad is already down to 15 here. Might go even lower, depending on what we're blocking, what extra, because it looks like they're taking a little bit extra damage here. There's 2 Embodiment of Earths on the side of Matt Rogers here, too, so his blocking is going to be even better. So we're already down to 12. This looks like almost half of the Lexi player's life total already, and he hasn't even gotten to attack yet this game.
Well, and not only that, he's going to make 3 Embodiment of Earth tokens, meaning if he draws any non-attack action cards, if they block 2, they don't block 2. They block 5 instead. And so that's going to be very, very good against someone who may want to be dominating on their turn. So he flips over a Ball Lightning, coming across with Ball Lightning, which, as we talked about, is incredibly threatening. Ball Lightning does make you consider a card block from hand, and when you're playing a game that gives you only 4 cards a turn, you really do need to think about whether or not you commit it to block Ball Lightning or not.
Yeah, we talked about how hard blocking could be in this format, how hard blocking can be in Limited in general. Briar makes it a little bit easier. You know, we keep seeing the praises of these Embodiment of Earth, so we're going to see Matt kind of go into the tank here just a little bit to kind of figure out what he can get rid of this turn. You know, he does have an arsenal card, so he has the extra card for next turn. So he's probably thinking about, you know, hey, can I take this? Maybe I can block a little bit extra next turn down the line, which might represent more damage prevented since it is a Ball Lightning starting.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to just take the Ball Lightning, allowing, or maybe at instant speed, he's choosing to use the Shiver ability in Arsenal, or Arsenal this card, coming down this arrow. He's going to play the Weave. Oh, interesting. He's breaking the combat chain to play the Weave Ice. And he's playing out, I think it's Chilling Ice Vein. A really beautiful art, by the way, on Chilling Ice Vein. It was totally side, not to do with the game at all.
The art in this set is unbelievable.
Oh, my goodness, so good. But this does represent some very interesting damage. And I'm going to guess that he's choosing the Dominate effect, which Matt is very well set up to deal with if he has a non-attack in his hand, because one card could potentially block for 5. And we do see he does have several possible cards to block with. You could block with the Weave Lightning there that we see most clearly, and it does look like there's an Earthlore Surge, which you would love to save for your own turn.
Looks like a Bramble Spark as well. I mean, lots of stuff here. So I think Matt's going to have to weigh the options here of, one of my blocks does get +3, right? And that's a lot of value to get. But I've got to believe, I think there's a Ball Lightning or something along the lines of that as his arsenal card.
Yeah.
So
That's the really interesting thing, because this is a hand that looks like it looks like that second card there on the right is Flash, so he does not have an attack action card in his hand. So if the Arsenal card is not an attack action, then these buffs do nothing for him. And so all of a sudden now he may think, okay, well, I can only commit one card to a block here if this is dominated. It's probably going to hit. If this is, it looks like it's a blue arrow, so it might be coming in for less than you'd have to really worry about. But if it's anything more than a blue attack, this could push a lot of damage. And if I let this hit, this could create problems for me, and I may not have much of a turn on my turn anyway, based on my hand.
Yeah, and so you're going to see him think about blocking here of one card. It's going to soak up an extra 3 damage because of the Embodiment Earth, because all of these are non-attack actions, and Embodiment Earth pumps that and lets you defend for a little extra. If there is an attack in his arsenal, though, Matt is setting up to have quite the huge turn, even with just one attack, because he'll be able to buff his attack, do some extra damage from it, some Arcane River, and then follow it up with Rosetta Thorn to do a ton of damage here, because he'll get that go again from Briar's ability. Yeah.
So blocking with the Bramble Spark, that blocks for 5. It normally blocks for 2, but the 3 Embodiment of Earth tokens allow it to block an additional 3, which is very, very good as a Briar player. Those destroy at the start of your turn, and so you don't get to stack those up. That would be incredible if you did.
No one would want to play against Briar.
Oh, my goodness. Everyone would want to play Briar. Interesting thing that Matt could do here, if he doesn't end up having an attack, which he may just consider to play 2 of these non-attack action cards out for no effect. No, it does look like it was a Ball Lightning, as you said, in the arsenal. So with the Ball Lightning coming across, it looks like it's a yellow Ball Lightning, which attacks for 2. But, a giant Earth Lore Surge makes it incredibly threatening instead.
Right, so you're going to see the Earth Lore Surge pump the Ball Lightning. Ball Lightning is going to pump itself in any attacks going on after this. Also, we've got a resource point left over. So if you get this go again, this Rosetta Thorn is going to be coming in to do tons and tons of damage. Chad is already at 12. Matt took... I'll say this, Chad had a really good attack last turn to get 4 through and put Matt Rogers down to 16. And you're seeing here, Chad is already starting to realize, I need to block as much as possible here. And this is the situation that these Briar decks put you in with these aggressive starts. Yeah,
it looks like he's blocking it out. I would imagine he's blocking it out. But he could pop the Mark of Lightning here in Matt's position. In doing so, it deals 1 damage. But it's actually going to stack with Ball Lightning to give it actually 2 damage, which is one of my favorite effects. And then he's allowed to pitch away this last resource and come in for 2 and 2 with the... Rosetta Thorn. I think that's one of my favorite plays. It's just being able to say 2 and 2 to your opponent with Rosetta Thorn. So scary.
It looks like the Rosetta Thorn damage went all the way through. I have to see exactly how low Chad went.
Down to 8, yeah.
He's down to 8. It does look okay. It doesn't look like all the Thorn got through. It does look like it's going to get a little bit of a block there.
Does block the physical damage there as it passes over to his own turn.
Looks like an arsenal and a pass from Matt Rogers, but he's got to love his position. He's in a really good spot here, getting a bunch of damage through. We're going to be going back over to Chad, the Lexi player here, with only a few cards left in his hand. Let's see. It looks like actually he's going to go ahead and draw his cards.
I think he full passed because he maybe was left with 1 card in hand after that block, and 1 card in hand, 1 card in arsenal. Depending on what you arsenaled, it may be a little awkward to play out, or you may be just saving it for a larger turn. Passing back over to Matt, we did see he's got a full grip, 4-card hand, and an arsenaled Entwined Lightning, which if fused. Or not Entwined Lightning, but if the attack is fused, that it attacks 2, it will give it go again.
Yeah, so yet another huge turn being set up here from Matt. Let's see if he's got everything that he needs, and it looks like this is going to be a very big turn.
Oh, my goodness. So he's going to play the Arcanic Shockwave, and he's going to fuse it. And so this is going to come across for Arcane, but it's also going to get the buff and a go-again effect from Weave Lightning. A fantastic card, Weave Lightning, in this format, especially for Briar, because it could set you up with an Embodiment of Lightning token if you can get 2 non-attacks played.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've seen some Arcane damage come across. An Embodiment of Earth token is being created. Stop me if you've heard that before this round.
Yeah. Embodiment of Earth token is indeed created. I will say this. There is some nuance to the creation of Embodiment of Earth tokens in that when you're building your deck, if you don't actually put a large amount of non-attack action cards, or a decent amount, I'll even say, of non-attack action cards in your deck, you can't make use of it because it doesn't affect attack actions. So if you don't have, like, I'll just say a number. 1/3 of your deck is non-attack action cards. If you create these tokens, they aren't really giving you much benefit, but we have seen Matt use the non-attack action cards in his hand effectively to use those Embodiment of Earth tokens very wisely to block extra.
It looks like Chad's going to be double blocking here to make sure he can keep his life total as high as possible. But again, this is putting him in that hard spot where he's having to use all of his cards just to stay alive, and he's not really applying much pressure to Matt. And Matt's turn isn't even done here yet.
That's correct. And we did see, in the play of the Electrify. I love Electrify. I think this is definitely tied for one of my favorite cards in the set. Electrify coming from Arsenal feels fantastic to play, but even just Electrify as it is, oh my goodness, threatens a Singeing Steel Blade, makes this threatening, oh my goodness.
This might actually be lethal.
This is disturbingly good. That card is one of my favorites as well. Singeing Steel Blade, I believe it's the red, comes across for 4 but deals a point of Arcane, and we did see the use of Runaways earlier to stop a point of damage. So you don't have access to that anymore, so now you just need 3 Arcane if you're sitting in Matt Rogers' position.
Yeah, this is one we keep talking about. This is one of the spots that you're so good to be in as Briar because your opponent has to block all the physical damage they can because his Arcane is so hard to block. And you can see the look on Chad's face where he realizes the spot he's in.
If he doesn't full block Singeing Steel Blade, he dies because Singeing Steel Blade hits and then the yellow Electrify deals 2 extra damage. And he comes across for 2 and 2, and that seals the deal.
Wow.
What a quick game. What a powerful.
Wow.
That's a lot of powerful turns.
Was that a turn 2 kill?
I don't think so. I think we were several turns into it, but that is a large turn after a large turn after a large turn from Matt Rogers. I think I will say this: him going second and putting that pressure on did a lot for him in that scenario, because if he had gone first and given Chad the opportunity to just full block out turn 1 and redraw, it would have been perhaps a different game as far as tempo and who had control of things, because he really only got one decently large arrow off, right? And one that didn't have as relevant of an on-hit effect. So if he had perhaps happened to go second, that might have looked a little bit different.
Absolutely, and I got to agree with you there, because generally in Limited in Flesh and Blood, I've been wanting to go second in most of my games because of the redraw at the end of turn, just makes blocking so good. But with this set and with Lightning from Briar, I've been finding myself wanting to go first a lot more because of the exact thing you're saying, just getting yourself into that good situation and putting your opponent into such a bad one. That's going to do it here for round 1. Matt Rogers himself moves up to 1-0 with a commanding win here. His deck looks great. He's in a great position for the rest of the day. We're going to be taking a small break here, but don't go anywhere. We're going to have Red Zone Rogue joining us in here for round 2, and we'll have a lot more action here from the calling. So don't go anywhere. We've got more Flesh and Blood when we come back.